Today I will give an overview of the recently released data migration framework for AX 2012. With the release of AX 2012, Microsoft has gone to great effort to normalize the data as much as possible. This has resulted in making the import of data much more difficult. For example, the customer information is now stored in more than 9 tables. It was therefore important to create a tool to facilitate the process of migrating data to the new release of AX. The Data Migration Framework, or DMF, does not come pre-installed with the installation of AX. You first have to download the tool from the Microsoft website and install it. When installed, the system will create a new module, just like any other module, called the Data Migration Framework. The system comes preloaded with many target entities or templates that are ready to use. For example, here, assets, bombs, customers address, and so on. There's quite a few. You also have the ability to create new ones if necessary, and Microsoft created a wizard for that purpose that's pretty easy to use. The DMF tool supports several source data formats, like text, delimited or fixed length, or DBC connection, or even other AX installation. Let's now look at the processing groups, which in concept are similar to the definition groups in previous version of AX. For this demonstration, we will import a customer record. I already created a processing group for it. And if we click on Entities, this is where we can attach the entity or the template we want to use for this import. So I've attached the customer entity and also the customer address entity. Let me remind you that these entities are pre-loaded templates, so I did not create anything custom here. I've selected a source data format of CSV, so we will be importing from a file, a CSV file. And for each of the templates or entities, I've indicated where the file is located. If we don't have a file, we can use the tool to generate a source file, a source template to use as a guide. And we can use this wizard to create a new one, or use an existing one. I'll use the existing one here. And all we have to do here is select which field that are present in the source file. If we already have a file, we can just generate the source mapping. So the system will actually read the file and create a mapping for it. Then modify or view the source mappings. Here we have a visual representation of the mapping between the source file and the staging table. The staging table is an intermediate AX table, which is a flat representation of the customer information. So we can review the mapping here. We can modify it by dragging and dropping a source field to a staging field. Or if we prefer, we can view this in a grid view and do the mapping this way. Let's close the mapping. And let's take a look at the actual files and look at the data. I open up the files in Excel to make it easier to read. You can see we have a record here for the customer, and these are all the fields that correspond to the source mapping. And we also can take a look at the address files. I have 3 different address records here, and really the only thing that is common between the two is the customer account number in this case. So it's very easy to relate and the DMF tool will take care of all the relations in AX 2012. So let's close the file and return to AX. We can also preview the data directly from the processing group by clicking on Preview Source File. This is for the customer entity. We can also do the same thing with the address. Here you go. We can also look at the target mapping. So we reviewed the source to staging mapping. We can also view the staging to target mapping. Target is the actual tables on the AX side, and the view is similar than the source to staging mapping, except that we can see there are some functions that Microsoft provided to create the different related tables in AX that are used with the customer and the address records. So we have two types of mapping: straight field-to-field mapping, and also fields that go through functions to create records in a target area. These staging to target mappings are actually generated by the system, so it's not something that you normally have to do unless you have customized the various entities here. Okay, so let's close the mapping here, the target mapping, and also let's close the entity form, and we're going to start processing the data. So we are going to bring the data from the source file into the staging area, which is the intermediate tables. So I'll do that by clicking on Get Staging Data, and the system creates a job ID for that. It's unique for each time you process that, and we can give it a description. So I'll call it test 1, and I'll click OK. Okay, so this system brings the two entities in the framework, and I also have the option of reviewing the data even at this stage, so before our import into staging. In this case, I will just simply click on Run to import the data into the staging table. It can also be scheduled or run real time, or run real time here. Okay, I receive a message that the system has created 1 record in customer and 3 records in customer address. We can now review the results in the staging area by clicking on Execution History, and we'll choose the customer entity and view the staging data. So we're actually now looking at the actual data in the staging table, and we can review the data, and even if necessary we can actually edit it. The system provides us the ability to validate the data here. So let's validate the record, or all records if we have multiple. Okay, and I see that we have an error in the data, and it says value 7 does not exist in sales pool. Okay, so we can go and look for the sales pool field here on the customer record and see if we can fix the data. Okay, here it is here. The system will provide lookup for fields that are based on tables. So I can look up the correct value, and here 7 does not exist, but we're looking for 07. So we'll choose that, and we'll validate the record again. The validation is now successful, and I'm ready to import this data into the target tables. So we'll close that, close the review form, and now we are ready to copy the data to target. So this will copy the data and populate the actual customer related tables in AX. I will run this for all, but you also have the tool has the ability to actually update records. So not only the system will create new records, but also update existing tables, or existing records rather. So we'll click for all, and click on OK, and then run. System has created records in Target. We can close that. Can now view the staging data again and view the status, which is completed. From here, actually, I can click on Target to actually go to the record that the system created in the customer master. So let's click on that. This is the actual record in AX, customer record with all the data that came from the source file and target file. If we look at the addresses, we can see all the address records that were created. All the different contact information as well, and all the default data like terms of payments and method of payment and so on. Once we review the data and everything is okay, the DMF tool provides a periodic function to clean up the staging data, so we can process additional imports for the similar entities or other templates if necessary. And this concludes this overview and demonstration of the new DMF tool in AX. Good luck.